and a roadie. Go tell and a roadie. Go tell and a roadie that everybody's.
Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. I wonder what it's called in Japan.
Oh my fucking god.
When booting up Resident Evil 7 for the first time, you get the distinct feeling of, oh yeah, we are so back. It all started with a secret demo shown only to the press at E3 2015 for a VR horror game called The Kitchen. In it, you'd explore this rundown house somewhere in Louisiana. The press called it one of the scariest things they had ever played, and after the tragic loss of PT, which I will truly never get over, this seemed to be filling the void of what was once an upcoming return to another classic horror franchise. Which makes it all the more ironic when 1 year later it was revealed that The Kitchen was actually Resident Evil 7 all along. It's fitting that Capcom was picking up what Konami wouldn't. Now I do have to preface that you can play this game in VR, but I do not own a VR headset, so I'm going to play this like a normal game.
Ethan. You were right. I did lie to you. I shouldn't have. All I can say is that if you get this, stay away.
Now, in this game, you aren't playing as a policeman or a member of a special tactical squad designed to deal with biohazardous experiences. We are Ethan Winters, a man looking for his wife after she has been missing for 3 years.
Oh, I see. So this is how we're gonna fucking play it, are we?
Arriving at this large estate, something feels off. Definitely like we shouldn't be here. We find these monuments, dead animal carcasses all strung up together. This is a clear sign that we should turn around and leave, but, you know, we've got a wife to save. Arriving in the house feels like it hasn't been lived in for years. There are no signs of human life except for this VHS tape.
Who? Where did you find this guy?
Give me a break, Pete.
Hey, I only work with professionals. Tonight on Sewer Gators, another worthless fucking shithole. Happy? Are we rolling? All right, let's go.
Get out of the way.
It's locked.
After you.
Hillbilly Joe and his family go missing.
Not hillbillies, the Bakers. Jack and Marguerite Baker. And they were quiet, not backward. A lot of bad rumors about their son, Lucas. Bad seed, apparently.
This will make a great backdrop. Andre, what do you think? Andre? Where is he? Unfucking believable. This is the last time I work with that guy.
This section starts a trend that will follow us on this dark journey, finding these VHS tapes as Ethan gets a sneak peek as to what will be hunting him in this place. Eventually we make it to the basement and we actually find Mia. Wow, that was easy. An RE game with no combat and puzzles? Damn, we've just been in a spooky house for like 20 minutes and oh, wait, what the hell is that? This is one of the most startling openings to a game maybe ever. Seeing Mia as someone who has clearly been through some horrific things, scared of what could be around every corner, turn into a demon, and she literally cuts her hand off. It's fine, it gets stapled back on later. It feels so much more visceral and immersive. It really shows why the new first-person perspective was a great choice for this game. It feels more personal. And the game actually has combat. You can use a melee weapon if you got one on hand, and you even have the ability to block, which allows you to tank more damage. You eventually get to use a gun as well. During this exchange, Mia changes back and forth between her two personas. You aren't exactly sure what is happening to her, and no matter how many times you put her down, she keeps getting back up. And during this encounter, it doesn't feel great. It doesn't feel heroic. It feels like you have to do it to survive. and this is all accomplished within the first 30 minutes of the game. So let's see where it goes from here.
Welcome to the family, son. Where am I? What the hell?
Rise and shine, sleepyhead. It's time for supper.
With the prologue out of the way, we are introduced to the main antagonists of the game, the Baker family. Jack, the father, Marguerite, the mother, Lucas, the son, also a sleepy old grandma is here. Unfortunately for Ethan, they want him to join their family.
Come here, boy. Let's do this.
After Ethan is able to escape, we can start making our way around the house, and this is where the game really opens up. Locked doors, puzzle rooms, backtracking, and mastering your way around. It really brings back those classic survival horror vibes into this new gameplay style. Oh look, a shotgun puzzle. This seems awfully familiar. You will also have to scavenge for resources, healing items and ammo. Remember, you are not Leon S. Kennedy, you are not Chris Redfield. You're as close to a normal person as a video game protagonist can be, so you will need to stock up and keep an eye on your inventory. The big change of pace after RE6. We keep exploring and unfortunately, Jack is roaming around the Baker estate, and he can do some serious damage. In our first boss encounter, we are able to run him over with a car, but it doesn't really work.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna take you for a ride. No!
Like Mia, he is regenerating, and no matter how many times you put him down, he will keep getting back up. So hold on to that ammo. This is survival horror after all.
Do I have your attention, boy? You're about to see something wonderful. Oh, fuck!
Throughout the house, we will discover that mold is growing everywhere, which creates these enemies that you'll have to take on throughout the game. To be honest, they aren't my favorite enemy type in the series, but the dreaded zombie fatigue was at an all-time high, so I can understand why the team wanted to try something different.
They're kind of just fucking mold zombies, though.
Ethan needs to find a way to escape, and the only way to do that is going through Jack. So, I guess the best option would be... Jack was a great choice to kick off this game with. Armed with his shovel, busting through walls and cracking some demented quips, he seemed like he was having so much fun toying with us, which made him all the more scary to go up against. Capcom did a great job at creating an iconic villain to welcome this new era of Resident Evil. Upon leaving, we find a caravan that belongs to Zoe, the Baker family daughter who has been infected with whatever is going on here but is yet to fully lose it like the rest of the Baker family. She has found a way to make a cure for her and Mia. She sends us to find the final ingredient at the old house, which sits on top of a swamp. This place is even more decrepit than the Baker house. It feels like it is barely holding itself together. There are swarms of bugs and insects all over the place, even blocking parts of the house. No worries, that's what the flamethrower is for. Unfortunately, someone is in here with us.
Stay the fuck out!
Oh no, there's fucking bugs! Oh my god! This is probably the scariest section of the game for me. Marguerite has this haunting presence and wanders around with her lamp. If Jack was an insane father just wanting to play with his kids in an extremely demented way, Marguerite feels like an overly protective mother who you really don't want to catch you if you're trying to sneak out of bed.
Where do you think you're going?
Ethan, please help me. Ethan, help me.
But when we do finally confront her, we actually take her down with relative ease. That's a little odd, but in order to continue, we need her lamp. So we go back to the body and... No. I am not going down there. I am not doing anything with... What the fuck is that, dude? What the shit? Oh my god, what the fuck is that? Oh no, This is probably my favorite creature design of the game, and it's an uncanny thing to go up against. The way her limbs are just too long, it's just so freaky. Capcom already created an iconic enemy with Jack Baker. But to top that off with Marguerite, if you didn't know it before, you knew it now. Resident Evil was back, and nothing could stop it. Which was good, since the rest of the game slightly falls off. Now, I think that Lucas is a cool idea for this game. Definitely portrayed as the troubled child, he feels like Sid from Toy Story if he was doing that shit to people. His manic tone, crazy antics, and the funhouse puzzle room you have to escape from, they're a perfect contrast to Jack and Marguerite's levels.
I know. Fucking password, right? Why don't you try 0814? No! 0621. No, it's 0514.
Do you know what you're talking about, dude?
I just feel that in the middle of this, having a boss fight with a giant mold man that throws up on you while bad rock music is playing, it definitely feels a little less inspired than the previous sections. Also, the lack of conclusion with his story feels like it's being left for the DLC to finish. Which it was. We are finally able to find Mia and Zoe, but before we can give them the cure... What the fuck? What? Oh no! Oh my god! That thing is so big! After using one of the cures to take down Jack, we only have one left. And the choice: are we going to save Mia or Zoe? My wife who has been missing for 3 years? Or somebody I just met? Easy pickin'.
It's fine. It was foolish thinking I could escape.
But Zoe...
Go! Both of you just go!
I honestly don't know why this choice is even in the game, and I think the developers realize this because in one of the DLCs, they make this choice, the correct choice, canon. So yeah, this is dumb. For the final section of the game, we partially play as Mia on this abandoned ship, and we learn about the backstory and how this whole thing got started. Mia worked for a secret organization that had created a bioweapon. The bioweapon in question is a little girl by the name of E-001, also going by the name of Evelyn. She has the ability to control minds and corrupt them, turning them into her family and creating these mold creatures. When she had had enough of these experiments, she destroyed the ship and was found by one Jack Baker, who brought her home to take care of her. But it was too late. She had decided that this was her family and corrupted them, turning them into these monsters we have faced. And they've been kidnapping people and turning them into the molded for the past 3 years. We actually get to have a conversation with the real Jack Baker, and it's a sobering moment, realizing that he and his family were victims as well. And Evelyn has been there the whole time. Since she isn't a real girl, she has aged rapidly within 3 years, and is now an old woman. She can't walk, she can't do anything, but she has been there, watching, just looking like a sleepy old grandma. And it's time to put an end to this.
No! No, no, no!
You.
Why does everyone hate me?
Resident Evil 7 Biohazard is far from a perfect game, but I do feel that this is a major step in the right direction. It doesn't have the fixed camera angles of the original, but it is a survival horror game, with its puzzle box design and inventory management back at the forefront. Before the release of this game, people were wondering if it would even have combat, because horror games had changed so much. Amnesia, Outlast, Slender, Five Nights at Freddy's. People felt that if your game had combat, it couldn't be scary. But RE7 changed that. You could reinvent, you could re-examine what made older horror games work. And this game took a lot of influences from different horror franchises, like the Blair Witch Project, Evil Dead, and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But according to the developers, the main inspiration was the original Resident Evil. The Baker House felt almost like a mirror of the Spencer Mansion, feeling like a borderline reimagining of the game that started it all. The OG Resident Evil was meant to be first person, but had to change that due to the tech not being ready. And this game was finally able to achieve that goal with the new RE engine, an in-house engine designed by Capcom specifically for this game. Apparently its full title is the Reach for the Moon engine. That's a fucking lie, but the game looks gorgeous and runs pretty well, so bravo Capcom. This game really feels like the original idea of Resident Evil is being brought back to the surface, wiping off the dust and seeing if it still works. And it does. Resident Evil was no longer seen as outdated, or lame, or a shadow of its former self. It was scary again. In a lot of ways, Resident Evil 7 Biohazard is a loving homage to the survival horror era of Resident Evil. And for me, despite some missteps, it's a true return to what made Resident Evil so special. Oh yeah, the DLC! So in Not a Hero, you play as Chris Redfield with a weird face, and despite the title, he is definitely a hero. And in End of Zoe, you play as Joe Baker, a crazy man who lives in the swamps. And he doesn't need any weapons, as he just suplexes and powerbombs the mold people.
Take this!
And by the end of the game, you unlock a robot-charged glove.
Ready for use.
Is it stupid? Yes. Do I love it? Yes. As for Ethan and Mia, their story isn't finished, but I don't think anyone could expect what was next for them.
Long ago, a young girl went with her mother to pick berries for her father, who was hard at work. But the forest greeted them with a dark, cold silence, the bushes empty.
As Resident Evil Village opens, we are greeted with a retelling of a story, in a unique art style that feels like something out of a Grimm's fairy tale. The story is grand and mysterious. A young girl encounters these mythical beasts, but there is something darker under the surface. But what does this have to do with anything? Not sure yet. Maybe we'll find out. Also, Ethan and Mia have a baby.
I can't tell if this baby looks good or not. Is it a bit uncanny valley? Do you know what I mean?
Ethan and Mia have been able to start a new life after the horrific events of RE7. And now with their baby Rose, they're able to put it all behind them.
Mia!
Oh no, my beautiful wife. Who would do something so horrible to my beautiful wife?
Chris? What the hell?
Sorry, Ethan.
No! What? Why?
What the fuck happened to his face? He looked nothing like this in the last game. Yeah, he looked like a completely different fucking person. What the fuck?
Chris is taking Ethan and Rose away, and we don't know why any of this is happening. But this is where the true nightmare starts. Ethan awakens after the truck he was being taken in has crashed. It's dark outside and we can hardly see. All we know is we have to find Rose and get her to safety. Man, Ethan has developed so much. I mean, he used to be a horror game protagonist looking for his missing wife, and now he's a horror game protagonist looking for his missing daughter.
Oh, so we're just gonna do it like this? That's cool.
And now, we arrive at the village.
Where the hell am I?
Well, that's just the coolest thing I've ever seen. Upon exploring the village, it appears to be completely abandoned, until you find someone, but our time together is short. What could have done this? It's too quick to be a zombie, too fast to be controlled by the lust plagas, and it certainly isn't the mold creatures. For this adventure, Resident Evil is going to get a little gothic. This time around, Ethan will be dealing with werewolves, or if you want to be pedantic about it, lichens. This sequence is exhilarating. They bust through windows, crawl on the roofs above you. They are fast and unlike anything you have faced in Resident Evil. The way they are perched on the rooftops just waiting for you, it's pretty intimidating. The lichens will eventually overwhelm you, but after the bell rings in the distance, they leave. And I can only think of one question.
Where's everyone going? Bingo?
All that is left is this creepy old woman that looks like a witch and talks in nothing but riddles, and the remaining survivors are all hiding in the house. But since Ethan is here, everything goes wrong. We can't save everyone. All we can do is find Rose and try and get out of here. But in order to do that, we are going to have to find the cause of what is happening in this village.
The man is of no real use to anyone else, and my daughters do so love entertaining foreigners. Furthermore, I can assure you that if you entrust the mortar to House Stone, my daughters and I will deliver to you the finest.
Way ugly! I want to see! He's awake!
Doesn't shut the fuck up!
This is Mother Miranda, the one in charge of all of this, and apparently she has Rose. In order to get her back, we're going to have to go through her 4 lords that are ruling over different sections of the village: Dimitrescu, Beneviento, Moreau, and Heisenberg, as they each have a different part of Rose in these chemical jars.
Is that baby, like, dead or something?
Much like RE7 with the Bakers having their own section of the house, each lord has their own distinct area that you can explore through. We will need supplies. We won't get them through a merchant, but a man known as the Duke.
I've been waiting for you, Mr. Winters. What are you buying? Just something an old friend of mine used to say.
They know. They know what they're doing. Capcom is ripping off themselves, and I am A-okay with that.
First, we enter Lady Dimitrescu's castle, looming over the whole village, and is probably my favourite part of the game. Gothic and larger than life, it also follows the classic RE puzzle box design, with the usual locked door and backtracking to find a key approach that we are used to. The major threats in this place are Dimitrescu's daughters, all able to turn into swarms of bugs and rush us, but nothing truly compares to the first proper meeting with the Lady of the Castle.
Mother, I bring you fresh prey.
You are so kind to me, daughters. Now, let's take a look at him. Well, Ethan Winters. You escaped my little brother's idiot games, did you? Let's see how special you are.
Step on me? Question mark?
It felt like the moment Lady Dimitrescu appeared in the first trailer for this game, she was already iconic, and she doesn't disappoint. Wandering the halls of her castle looking for us, she is quite intimidating, giving off that classical vampire feel. And yes, I will admit,
she's hot. Everyone knows this. The term goon changed forever after this game came out.
She is also extremely dangerous, and we don't want to get caught by her.
Shit! Like I'd let you get away.
Wait, no. That's not how that works. That doesn't make any sense. His hand does stick back on, and it does make sense, and we will get back to it later.
I think that Capcom had no idea how popular she would become. By the time she's turned into a giant dragon and we have taken her down,
I told you! I wasn't fucking joking!
we are about a third of the way through the game. And in retrospect, maybe the game could have used her in a more expansive way. But hey, maybe this is just a case of leaving the audience wanting more. Capcom has created another iconic antagonist for this new era of Resident Evil. Bravo. Now on to the Puppet House. Lady Beneviento's house is next, and it's a very different vibe from the castle. It's just a lonely house sitting in isolation. No enemies are in sight, and nobody's inside. As we make our way to the heart of the house, we find a lone puppet waiting for us.
I've been waiting for so long. I'd make a much better daughter than Rose. Please, won't you stay with me forever?
What?
Our weapons are gone. We are in the basement of this house, and we are not alone.
Oh my fucking god, what the fuck is that? It's fucking creepy!
This is basically a PT tribute level, and I kind of love it. Crawling through the dark and hearing this thing hunting you, this is easily one of the scariest parts of this game. And this baby will go down as one of the creepiest babies in all of fiction, along with the PT baby and the Eraserhead baby. That is the end of the list. Once we escape that nightmare, we find the little puppet master herself and take care of business.
Stupid idiot! What are you doing to my cute friends?
It's over.
Yeah, dude, she's fucking dead.
This section is short and sweet, knows what it's doing and does it well, so I really can't complain. Which is good since this is where the rest of the game slightly falls off. Wait, I think I've said that before. Moreau is a sad fish monster. That's all I've got. His area didn't really leave the biggest impression on me. I'm not going to say it was terrible, it was just there. Heisenberg runs an underground mine factory thing, and exploring it is also quite a bore. Just a lot of dark hallways and these dudes with goggles on, it's just whatever. Heisenberg himself is a bit of a goof. He has the ability to manipulate metal, so obviously the boss fight with him requires you getting into this makeshift mech in order to take him down.
Remember this, gamers. I would never, ever fucking lie to you.
That boulder punching asshole! Boulder punching asshole? Did you just acknowledge RE5? What the fuck is Chris doing?
Chris Redfield has been hunting down Mother Miranda for some time, and the strike is going down. Chris is easily able to mow down Lycans because he is Chris fucking Redfield, and you make your way to what can only be described as the nerd lore room. A bunch of documents are all over the place, explaining the origins of everything and how it ties into the rest of the series, like how Mother Miranda was actually the mentor of the men that would go on to create Umbrella, and basically cause the entire series, and that the same virus that created the Lycans is an early version of the mold from RE7. And Evelyn from that game is basically Miranda's daughter. Also, Ethan has apparently been dead since the very beginning of RE7 after Jack found him, and they revived him with the mold, which is how they reattached his hand, which I'm pretty sure wasn't what they wrote in RE7, but you know, whatever, I guess we could just roll with it. Also, Mia is alive. At the beginning, that wasn't Mia, that was Miranda trying to get Rose because Rose is like a half mold baby, and so Miranda can use her the same way she was going to use Evelyn. And look, maybe this is just a hot take, but honestly, I don't really care about the lore of Resident Evil, because I don't think Capcom has cared about the lore for about 20-something years. This is a series that started as a zombie outbreak and now trying to tie in all this crazy bullshit, when in reality, I just think Capcom wanted to make a game about Lycans. Which is fine, that's cool. Resident Evil to me is less about the story and more about the experience of each game, and whatever you want to do to tie it in is honestly whatever to me. That is the end of my RE lore rant, and honestly there is no easy way to transition to the next section, but remember how Ethan is basically a mold man now? Well, it's killing him. After a long battle with Mother Miranda and saving Rose, Ethan is fading, not being able to go any longer. He decides to stay back and die with what is left of the mold, and it is a little sad. Ethan was the first playable character in the series to feel like a normal dude, and he has been through so much. But I guess knowing that his daughter and his wife are going to be safe, maybe it is time for this hero to rest. Also, why does the camera keep hiding his face? Like in cutscene, we aren't in first person anymore, and it really feels like the game wants to do it. I mean, he's about to die, just show his face! About a year after the release, we got a DLC expansion called The Shadow of Rose. We play as a now grown-up Rose that has been pulled into this dream world created by mold-based shenanigans, and it's pretty cool. A little more puzzle focused, and in moments reminding me of the Little Nightmares games. Also, the section with the mannequins is basically giving me the Weeping Angels horror game I always wanted. Good stuff. And in the end, we do meet Ethan, and the game is still hiding his face. Like, what the fuck is this? Overall, Resident Evil Village is a lot more mixed than 7, but I still enjoy a lot of it. When this game is on, there is nothing like it. And I feel that a certain moment describes completely what this game was going for.
I'm gonna have to reuse a clip I used earlier, sorry about that.
That boulder punching asshole!
Now, I view this moment as an acknowledgement that sometimes Resident Evil can get a little wacky, and this makes all the more sense when the developer's main influence for this game was RE4, the moment the series changed to action, and I think it's clear to see. The Duke is a parallel to the Merchant. The opening village raid and the castle remind me of those moments from RE4. In a lot of ways, Resident Evil Village feels like a loving homage to the action era of Resident Evil. And yes, it's far from perfect, but I think the great things about it are worth celebrating. And I find it kind of beautiful that in this new era of Resident Evil, that these two games are reimaginings of the two most important moments in the series. But before we can talk about the future, we need to talk about some remakes.
He's basically saying that they greenlit a remake of Resident Evil 2. If that wasn't fucking obvious.
Resident Evil 2 Remake is nothing short of spectacular. A loving recreation of the RPD, with even some of the original developers working on this remake 21 years later. This is definitely the scariest RE game made in the third-person perspective. Making zombies feel scary in 2019 is quite the achievement. The gore is fantastic, everything looks great. Marvin is an actual character in this one, and his scenes are really well handled.
And don't make my mistake.
If you see one of those things, uniform or not, you do not hesitate.
And of course, Mr. X.
Jesus Christ!
To keep things short, they basically nemesised him. He no longer appears in these pre-scripted moments. He is now just wandering the halls of the RPD. And when you find zombies on one side, lickers on the other, and this tall bastard chasing you down, it adds an extra layer of horror. And to me, this is something that makes this version stand out from the original. That being said, I do feel that this game missing out on true A and B scenarios is a shame. The original had 4 distinct routes, and they all felt truly unique from each other. In the remake, you have Leon's path and Claire's, and aside from interstitial levels where you play as Ada and Sherry, for the most part, these runs are exactly the same. And in order to complete the game, you have to play both, so you just have to accept that Leon and Claire have the exact same fight with Birkin in the exact same place, probably within 10 minutes of each other. Maybe this complaint could be chalked up to AAA production being difficult, and that is fair. But the OG Resident Evil 2 was also a AAA game, so I think my complaint is justified. Aside from that, great game. Resident Evil 3 Remake, however, is kinda bad. Not bad, more like fine. And so we arrive at disappointment. After the success of Resident Evil 2 Remake, and how well they handled Mr. X, I was excited for what they were going to do with Nemesis. And the answer is they make him a scripted boss character that appears at the same time, every time. They basically removed the most iconic thing from the original. Removing this and the clock tower turns RE3 into a linear corridor shooter. And that sucks. I will say that Capcom's internal development studio weren't actually the main developer on this game. It was M2, comprised of ex-Platinum developers, which makes the ending with Jill Valentine wielding a giant laser cannon make a lot more sense.
Next time, take the fucking hit!
It's pretty fucking cool though.
However, unlike the original, which was able to stand out on its own, its remake is not so lucky. And then we have Resident Evil 4 Remake, and yeah, it's Resident Evil 4. With all the improvements that come with an 18-year gap from its original, it feels great to play. Shooting, kicking, and suplexing never felt so good. I think the main thing this version does is try to take the absolutely insane script of the original that felt like 3 different story ideas squished together and make it feel more cohesive. And I think the team was mostly successful this time around. Luis's character is far more fleshed out, making it way further into the story than he did in the original, and when he actually does die, it feels kind of sad, instead of just being, you know.
Louis! Louis!
Ashley in the original feels like a character that is simply there to be escorted and make dumb decisions for the sake of gameplay. In this version, she actually feels like someone who has been thrown into this horrific situation. We see her grow so much, starting as a character that is easily scared and needs Leon, to actually saving him near the end of the game. Krauser as a whole is leaps and bounds better than the original, and no quick time events. This time you actually get to fight him in a knife battle, and his boss fight isn't completely busted. But I do feel that certain aspects have not made the smoothest transition from the campy style of the original to this more serious version, mainly being Ramon Salazar. I just feel that Salazar in concept works way better as a goofy antagonist, constantly cracking one-liners, and in the original version he had such great chemistry with Leon. This new version just felt off to me, and I never fully connected with him. And upon finishing this remake, I thought to myself, gosh, I love RE4. The original. And this remake is great, but aside from money, why does it exist? I understand that some players don't connect with the older tank control style games, but the original RE4 still feels great to play, and has inspired every third-person shooter to come out since, so why remake it? Creatively. And maybe I'm being hypocritical, as I love the RE1 remake. It's one of my all-time favorites, but when you look at that game in the context of its time, it was one of the last of its kind. Fixed camera angles, pre-rendered backgrounds, and tank controls were fading into obscurity, and a remake of the game that popularized the genre was a fitting send-off to that style of game, in my opinion. The current crop of RE remakes have started a trend in this industry. Companies would rather remake older titles that are already popular instead of making new ones. Most are lazy and just upgraded visuals of games that aren't even 10 years old. And these RE games are different from that. They are completely new games, but it has created a template for what AAA horror games look like. Back in the day, horror gaming was one of the most diverse genres. Resident Evil played nothing like Silent Hill, which played nothing like Fatal Frame, which played nothing like Fear. Look at the gameplay for the remakes of RE4, Dead Space, and Silent Hill 2.
They all look the fucking same.
I think nothing is more disrespectful to an art form than claiming that modern versions are the perfect way to play these games because they fix the problems with the original. These problems being that they are old. Not looking at a piece of art within the context of when it was made is not the way to do it. People love RE2 because it's a PS1 game. People love RE4 because it's a GameCube game. We didn't love these games because one day they would be remade on modern hardware. We loved them because they were great. And what happens in 20 years when the current remakes are old? Are we going to remake them again? And every time a remake gets greenlit, that kills an opportunity for an original game. That takes away resources from other games. I can honestly say that the remakes of Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 4 are better games than Resident Evil 7 and Village. But I find these games more interesting. I would rather take a new game that is trying something interesting over a game that is going to be quote-unquote better because it has the blueprint of an older game to build upon. This era of Resident Evil, the RE Engine era, is a return to form, looking at what worked in the past and bringing it back to the forefront, and I have enjoyed most of these games. But I just want something new. Resident Evil Requiem is right around the corner, and I hope that it can introduce new creatures to fight, new environments to explore and get scared in, introduce some new characters, and maybe bring back some old ones. I'm excited because despite my complaints, Capcom is one of the few AAA developers that still delivers for me. A list that gets smaller and smaller every year that goes by. Resident Evil is a lot of different things. Fixed camera, third person, first person, survival horror, action, multiplayer. It's a franchise that has been around for 30 years and has done a lot of different things. And for me, if they create a unique environment for me to explore, fight enemies and get scared in, I think I will always be a fan of Resident Evil.